Today we will work on a bodice top for our dolls using Simplicity 8865. This is the top we will be working on. It is off the shoulder. For this pattern, you will be using 3 pattern pieces. Piece number 1, which is the front. Piece number 2, which is the sleeves, and you cut 2. And piece number 3, which is the back, and you also cut 2. For this pattern, I am using jersey fabric, which is very soft and stretchy. And we will need a jersey needle for this. The first piece we are going to work with are the sleeves, and we are going to hem our sleeves 1/4 inch, and then you can give it a nice little press after that. Since I'll be working with jersey on this pattern, I'm going to start sewing with a piece of tearaway paper under my fabric. This will prevent my fabric from being sucked into the feed dogs. Now, when sewing a hem, you want to sew as close to this edge as possible. You might have to lift up your presser foot from time to time and readjust your fabric. To begin sewing our bodice, we're going to take a closer look at the pattern pieces, because this one doesn't have a collar. You can see it goes off the shoulder, so it's going to be sewn a little differently than our typical tops. Now, if you look at the sleeve, you can see that there are 2 holes here on the top. Those are going to correspond with this one here for the back and with these on the front. So for me to visualize this, I placed the sleeve pattern in front of me. I've marked my holes already on all of these, by the way. And then this top left one, I'm going to match with the front one. And I'm going to pin it like this. And then when I'm done sewing this at 1/4 inch, I'm going to do the same with the back piece. You match your circles, and then you sew that at 1/4 inch. Here is my sleeve and my front piece pinned together through the circle and ready for me to sew. Now that we have our sleeves attached to the front of the top, we're going to attach the back. The best way to do this is to remember that you have a center back here. So you want to make sure that the center back is facing each other. And I've got it pinned and ready to go under the sewing machine with my piece of paper. So here what I've done at the neckline is I've stitched a line at the 1/4 inch mark and I've pressed it down. My next step will be to sew around that pressed down neckline just about in the middle of that 1/4 inch, maybe about 1/8 all around the neckline. And that's going to create this neat little fold that will keep it inside when your doll is wearing it. I removed my paper, and here's how that neckline looks. Our next step is going to be to sew the sleeve together and the back and the front together. So you can pin these two sides together with your seams open here, and then just sew it a straight stitch, 1/4 of an inch. So now that we've pressed our sides and our sleeves together, this is what our garment looks like. This is still inside out. This is the front bodice, and these two pieces are our back. Now we're going to move to this hemline here, and this is going to be end up being our inside leg. So if you reference the pattern, it says 1/4 of an inch hem allowed. So what we're going to do is fold this part up 1/4 of an inch, and then we're going to sew it as close to the edge, raw edge as possible. Here you can see my pressed edge and where I'm going to sew. If you notice, my needle is almost at the edge of this raw edge here, but not quite. Here you can see how nice that curve came out once it's hemmed. At this point, we have both of our leg hems sewn. Our next step, you're going to take your two back pieces together and line those up. Now, if we look at our pattern piece, what we have here is a seam that starts here, goes up, and then pivots to the end. So you can mark that circle so you know where to pivot, or you can pin it. But in either case, you're going to start sewing at 1/4 of an inch, go up here, and then pivot straight across. And you can backstitch here to make sure that this piece stays together. Once you've sewn that part up, you're going to open it up, press open the seams, and you're going to match it up with the other little piece. And see, now you can really see the bodice taking form. You have your leg openings, and you are going to sew across here. What I would do is I would sew a couple of times across just to make sure it's really secure. So here I've got my paper, and I'm going to sew that at 1/4 of an inch, and I'm just going to stitch back and forth a couple of times. So let's turn our bodice inside out. You might need a little help by using a pen or something to help you push this through. Here's what it looks like when it's right side out. And so now all we have to do is try it on our doll and then add either Velcro or a snap, and we're all done. Here's the first one that I had made with the tissue jersey, and it was pretty challenging to do because of the softness of the fabric. I think that this one came out better. The fabric is just a little bit thicker. This is more of a ponte knit, but a thin ponte knit, and this is a tissue jersey. So I'm very happy with this one. Thank you so much for watching.